and welcome to Hixxy Studio. On today's video I'm going to show you how to make this flower pot card, this birthday card, and it stands as a 10th fold. So I've used craft card for my base, and this is, let me just check, well, it's the length of A4 by 5 inches, and we need to score that in half, so bear with me. So I just dive under the desk for my scoreboard. And when you're using a whole sheet of A4, in half is roughly 5 7/8. It's actually if there were 16ths, then you'd go to the 16ths, but 5 7/8 is as close as you can get, and it's okay. It works fine. You can see what I mean. You get that little lip bit there, but always put that to the back. Okay, so we have our base card. Now we want to make it more into a flower pot shape. So I'm going to just open that back out. And I know that this is 5 inches. So what I'm going to do on the base of my card is I am going to mark 1/2 inch in from each end. So 1/2 inch there and 1/2 inch there. And then I'm going to grab, oh, making loads of noise today. Grab my guillotine, and I am going to line up the crease of the card and the little mark that I've made. Takes a little bit of wiggling and wobbling, but you get there. And then the same the other way. Little mark on my card and the crease on the card. And then well, what a silly sausage I was, eh? I need to cut both layers. How silly am I? Otherwise we get a little bit at the front and a little bit at the back. I will chop that off in a moment. Having a little bit of a brainstorm there I was. But we got it sorted. Just going to grab my scissors because I ended up with a little bit left on there. Right, so I have kind of the base of my pot, and I have already cut the top part of my pot, which is here, and that is, it's 5 inches again by 2.5 inches, and that will just sit over the top like so. I have also already cut my paper for my base and my paper for my top. Okay, I've gone for kind of quite neutral colours for this. So I'm going to stick these on, but I'm not going to stick this to this because I have to do a bit of stamping for the foliage. So let's grab my glue and stick. This one here. And then I'm going to stick this one on here. Let's get that lined up a little bit better. Right, so those are 2 parts of my card. Now, I need to stamp some flowers. So I'm going to use my stamp press. Now, I haven't told you what I'm using, have I? That's very rude of me today. So we are going to be using 2 stamp sets from Julie Hickey Designs. So I have the Floral foliage, which I've used to stamp my foliage here. And I am also using the Floral Fantasy stamp set, but I am using the 3 individual flowers, and I'm using the Happy Birthday stamp. Okay, So we are going to grab the stamp, the flowers, and our stamp press. And because I'm going to be colouring these with Distress ink, I am using Spectrum Noir, the Finesse waterproof dye, and I'm using it in Flagstone. Okay. Ooh. Ah, ha, ha. Right. Things. So I'm going to just. You can see I've used these are very well used stamps. All sorts of kind of ink. I'm really not very good at cleaning my stamps, but they stamp beautifully nonetheless. So okay, so let's get our well, let's try and not get it on me. Bear with me while I just clean my fingers. Otherwise that is just going to be all over everything. Right. Okay, so let's get some ink on here. These three. Draw. You get the ink on the centre. That's what I found. Particularly when you've already got a lot of colour on your stamps, sometimes you kind of miss the middle. That is also the beauty of using a stamp platform, because I can just check and see. I can try pushing hard. It might just be that I've not pressed in those particular areas, but it could also be that I've not actually put enough ink on. So I'm going to do one more go over. And good old push down. I've never been a confident stamper, really. So I've always used stamps in my mixed media things, and it doesn't really matter if it's clear and accurate or not. But it always has kind of slightly concerned me trying to do things accurately. That'll do. Which is why for me stamp press is just, yeah, amazing. Okay, I'm going to take these off so I can put the stamp press away. You can see I'm a really messy crafter. Really messy stamper. So, I have my 3 flowers. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to bring in my white tile. Bit messy. Ah, no surprise there then. And I have my scatter straw. I have my fossilized amber. And I realise I'm just missing one of my yellows, which I know it is. If you just bear with me one moment. My mustard seed, that's my other yellow that I want to use. So I'm going to start with straw. Okay, put some that onto my my tile and get my water, and I'm going to grab a brush. Do with a different brush. Oh, that's the one I want. That's the one I want. Okay, so because this is waterproof ink, then I am able now to literally just paint over the top of these petals. Okay, I'm not particularly looking for I'm not doing shading or anything like that. I'm just going for a very simple, easy kind of wash over. I'm also not too worried if I go over the edges. In fact, in some places I probably want to go over the edges. Just when I fussy cut these out, you're never, with the best will in the world, going to be 100% accurate at cutting. So if you've got a little bit of colour over the edge, then it's not going to be too much of an issue. Just looking at the one I've already done, just to make sure I'm kind of following the colours, because I've got a few of these already done and cut out. Now you can see what's happened. As what I've done is I've added more and more and more water, so I've got a lighter and lighter colour. Not too bothered with that. Oh, that's not even the one I wanted, but not to worry. Let's put a bit more there. You can always go back over. See what I mean? I've now, because I've got very little water with that, it gives a much more opaque, slightly darker tone. Okay, so where else do I want scattered straw? I would like it around the edges here again. So I'm not overly worried if I'm going over the edges. And even when I do the inside bits, I am not going to get precious about going over the edges. Because I'm using all yellows. I do remember when I made these, I put so much scattered straw down. I do like it. It's a really, really pretty yellow. You see, I'm not really taking much care over this at all. Okay, so let's go with what have I put down? Fossilized amber. So this one's a bit darker. I might just put a little bit of this around the edges. And not too concerned about being accurate or doing all of it. So that's a slightly different colour to that one. Where are we going to put this? Now my brightest one is mustard seed, so I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to put I'm going to put that one in the middle there. Again, not doing anything particularly fancy or fussy. I've just chosen 3 tones of one colour, and then we're just going for it. I'm going to use, again, now these bits here, I have other projects where I've been a lot more careful. But like I say, I'm going over this with another yellow, so I'm really not that bothered that whether I'm making a mess or not. Not making a mess, that's wrong. I'm not bothered if I'm going over things because it'll be another yellow that's going to go on top of that. So let's get our mustard seed on. It is far and away the brightest of the 3 that I've got. And I'm going to do those inside lines, and you can see again, not worrying. Yeah, by all means, if you want to, take more time. But for what I want, I don't really feel the need. So I'm going to fill these bits in. Make this nice and bright as our 3rd flower. Okay. Now, I think, yeah, I've used 3 of each flower. So I've already got obviously some cut and painted and cut. You could use more, you could use less, you could use different colours, so you don't have to just stick with one colour. Okay, there we go, that'll do. just give that a second to dry off while I'm getting a bit sorted. But I'll tell you what we'll do next. I'm going to need my tile back, but that's okay. What I'm going to do now is the foliage is really too intricate to cut. So what I've done instead is I've used this one. This one of the smaller ones from the Floral foliage set, and same flagstone ink, and I have literally, I gave myself a little bit of a pencil line, and I've literally just stamped this multiple times so it looks like I've got some foliage. Now I'm going above that line as well, just to make it look like it's coming down from underneath the flowers. And it does stamp beautifully, but I'm also not too worried if it doesn't, if that makes sense. I'm not worried also. Oh, that was a bit, see, that one hasn't stamped so well, because I'm just going to paint over them. It's no biggie. So I think now it's more because I'm not putting the ink on my stamp properly. Okie dokie, right. And let's grab my tile back. I'm just going to get a little bit of towel. Clean that off. What I can add, I've got my two greens I've used. I've used a really dark forest moss, and I've used peel paint. I wanted them quite dark, but they would, although they're opaque, they're going onto quite a heavily patterned background. So I wanted to make sure that they were going to stand out. So just literally get going. And I did the middles. Did I do the middles? Yeah, I did the middles in forest moss. And then again, not worrying too much. I don't need to do anything above the line. I'm not bothering with, because it won't be showing, because the rim of the paint pot will be there. So 3Ding up on the flowers, but it'd be very, very tricky to cut these leaves out. So we've just stamped them straight onto the pattern paper, sorry, not card. And I'm just going to get just to go around the edge, get a little bit of different colour. And again, I'm not worrying if I'm going over the top of the forest moss. Just giving it a slightly different colour to the edge. Okay. So we'll put this aside to dry, and while that's drying, I will cut the flowers out to go with the rest of the flowers. Let's put that aside to dry. Out of the way, rinse off my brush, bring the flowers back in, and I'm going to use my little scissors to fussy cut the flowers out. Okay, so they're literally just putting them out, and this is where I say, you know, you, with the best will in the world, you don't always hit that black line, particularly if you're in a hurry like me. So having gone over the edges with the the ink is not a bad thing, because you still see the colour as opposed to just plain white card. Okay. And one. You can take much more time than me at home. Although, to be fair, I'm with things like this, I'm never particularly fussy or accurate in my cutting. And the flowers are not, they're not meant to be anatomically correct, if that's the right phrase. So it doesn't really matter too much. Obviously, I don't want to chop a petal off, but the rough shape will be there. And I've always done them in this order, so I found that one was the trickiest because of the roundy kind of bits on the ends of the petal, and then this one, and then I always leave the easiest to last, which is this one, because this is just round, 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 round. I don't know why I'm saying round and round. Yeah. So this one I found easiest, and I think I do it with most things in life. I try to leave the easiest things to the end, so that I don't get lulled into a false sense of security that, oh, this is all going to be easy. Get the harder things done first. Right, there's our 3 flowers. And let's delve in my box to find the rest of my flowers. There we go. We've got 3 of each. I've got a little tag in there to stamp. Right, start assembling our card. So this is going to stick here. Now you can see now it looks like the foliage is coming down. And once the flowers are over that, it will look like it's coming from under the flowers. You could, if you want, stamp it on here, but I don't think you need to. So we stick glue. That'll be covered up. The glue from the and I am going to use 3D glue gel on these, just because it's easier to get them in and slide them and move them if I need to. And I'm using my fingers to just shape the petals, just to give it a little bit of dimension. I forgot to say, I've used white stamping card. That's all I've used. Nothing special. Just plain white stamping card for this. I'm wafting glue around everywhere. Okay. Right, so let's start assembling. So it was a bit tricky. I mean, I could have put a back on this to make the flowers really high up, but I just thought, nah, we'll go with just putting a couple that kind of peep over the top like that. You see, putting them on with 3D glue gel. You see, I was in a hurry stamping those today. Really helps, because if my placing is not quite where I want it to be, see, I can now fiddle around. If I did use ordinary sort of acrylic glue, then I'm kind of stuck with where it's been put the first time. So a really nice use for 3D glue gel. There. There. Oh, running out in the syringe, but we'll be fine. Put one there. There. Oh, I might just sew enough. Yeah. There we go. Oh, see what I mean? You can just like, right, okay. I want to just move that slightly. Right, so there's our flowers. Now I need to go back to the stamp set if I can find it. And I want the happy birthday stamp. Just a tiny little one. Little block. And using the flagstone ink again. Just onto this little... Oh! That wasn't what I wanted to do. Right, I'm going to turn it over. It's fine. Turn it over. There we go. No one will know. There we go. That was just me being a bit butterfingers there. Side. So, put some glue on the back of this. And that on there. Raise this up with a bit of glue gel. Ooh. Like so. And then I have... Oh, right, let's find my box. I have all my little pearls. I'm just going to go and put a little blob of glue in the middle of each flower. Just adds a little bit of interest onto our flowers, and then we'll do a 1, 2, 3 there as well. My little tool, there it is. 1, 2, 3 there. And then we've got 1. That's got the right way. 1 in the middle there. Oh, these things never want to play ball. And there. One under there somewhere. 1 down. Oh. Ugh. And there we have it. Our flower pot card, plant pot card. Brilliant card for things like maybe Mother's Day, birthdays, Easter. Change the colours, really jazz it up, make it more summery. I've made it quite spring-like with the greens and the yellows, but yeah, really, really lovely. So we've used the Floral Fantasy stamps, and I'm not going to be able to find the thing now. And we've used the Floral Foliage, when I can find the little acetate, and the Floral Foliage, both from Julie Hickey Designs. Thank you for joining me.